Hi, I'm Peter Brock. I started BRE many years ago. So many years back I can't even remember when it was, but sometime after I left Shelby American in about 1965. And between that period and the start of the racing team with Datsun in 1969, it actually started earlier with the Hino Motor Corporation, and that's in itself a fascinating story. And that's part of just what we'll tell you about in our speaker series on the whole rise of the Japanese auto industry in America. In covering this, I'd like to tell people a lot about how we came to be the factory team for Nissan, and which was Datsun at that time. And it's a pretty convoluted story and pretty interesting because it involves a lot of my early history with Carroll Shelby and how we became competitors instead of allies. And then how we adapted the early Datsun race cars into really competitive automobiles so that we could compete with Triumph and Porsche. And certainly a lot about the drivers that we had at that time. Frank Manise, of course, who was my first driver, who I chose really because he was the only guy that I could race against when I was running my own Lotus that I couldn't beat. So I knew that he was going to be a champion driver, and he turned out to be one of the greatest. We won the Pacific Coast Division in 1969. So then John Morton came on board, and we won several national championships, and that was a great experience, and we're still great friends. So all of these great friendships with the people and that we worked with, especially Mr. Katayama, who was the president of Nissan Motor Corporation at the time on the West Coast. Very interesting story because at that time Nissan was divided both into the East Coast and West Coast, and how the West Coast became dominant and became the Nissan Motor Corporation of America today. So it's a long, interesting history on how we got to be and how BRE was complicit in that rise to power of the Japanese auto industry in the United States. It was a great time, and I think you'll enjoy the story.